nach nachman meuman. Before we put Rebbe's own words, you come back. The reason why we clap our hands during prayer is because our sages said, why does the Torah begin with the story of creation? To counter the nation's accusation that we are martyrs. Martyrs for having conquered and occupied the land of the 7 nations. For this reason he told his people the power of his deeds, telling them that all the worlds are his handiwork, and he gives to whomever he wants to. Thus the verse concludes to give them the inheritance of the nations, for it is all in his hands, and all things are considered the koyach, power of his deeds, corresponding to the chav of Chebes, 28 letters found in the first verses of Genesis, and the 28 phalanges on the hands. Phalanges, joints. And the 28 phalanges on the hands, and it is known that the air of the non-Jewish lands is impure, while the air of the land of Israel is holy and pure. For God removed it from the dominion of the nations, He gave to us, leaving the lands of the nations outside of the land of Israel with impure air. Thus when we clap our palms together, we are arousing the 28 letters of creation, the power of His deeds, meaning that He has the power to give of us the inheritance of the nations, for it is all His, so we of us have the power to purify the air of the nations' lands, for the land has been brought under God's dominion. For the land has been brought under God's dominion, and it is in His power to give to whomever He wants, as in to give them the inheritance of nations. This purifies the air of that place in which the Jewish person is praying, and he thus inhales the holy air, just as in the land of Israel. Also by clapping the hands, one banishes the impure air, because clapping the hands makes a noise, and this noise is holy air, derived from the 28 letters of creation, the 28 phalanges of the hands. We indeed see empirically that clapping the hands causes the air to move away. For this reason, for this reason one must assign a fixed place for one's prayers. For as we see empirically, people traveling from one country to another, to the air of which they are not accustomed, may become ill and die, even from a vicinity with bad air to one with good air. The same applies to prayer. Even when one stands in a place where tzaddik once prayed, it will still be difficult for one to pray there, since one is not accustomed to pray accustomed to the air of that place, and all the more so when moving from a place of good air to one of bad air. This is the meaning of what our sages said. Whoever assigns a fixed place for his prayer, the God of Abraham will be at his assistance, for the world created anew through this person. The world created anew through this person, and the creation of the world is through Abraham, as in the world was created with kindness. And this is the meaning of what is stated in the Tikkunim number 22 with page 68a, with this power of the 28 letters corresponding to the 28 phalanges of the hands, the Jewish people will subdue Adam. And this power must be elevated to nachma. This corresponds to whoever assigns a fixed place for his prayer. The God of Abraham is at his assistance. For Abraham represents the right side, as in whoever seeks wisdom should face the south, turning right from facing the east. And the God of Abraham will be at his assistance, because Abraham was the first person to perceive the land of Israel, as stated in the Zohar. Abraham embarked on a spiritual journey until the essence of the land was revealed to him. This is the meaning of prayers. Tikkunim were instituted connected, corresponding with the Tamid, daily offerings in the temple, which corresponds to the land of Israel, as in Tamid, always our God, your Lord's eyes upon it. This thus means that one must see to it that one's prayers within the air of the land of that one prays within the air of the land of Israel. That is, one must rectify foreign thoughts that arise during prayer, which is alluded to in prayers connected, corresponding in the sense of diametrically opposite. The Tamidim Tiknim, their Tikkun is through the Talmid, through the essence of the land of Israel. This is the meaning of in the hand of the Nevi'im prophets. Adame, I shall appear in the hand, with the hands through clapping. Speech is uttered in Ahai Admas Kodesh, holy land, Nevi'im, Bihiyiyiyiyik. From the root of speech, Niyiv, Ahai nanach, meuman. Furthermore, murder and desolation are eliminated from the world. Murder and desolation are eliminated from the world. For the hands correspond to let there be light, and there was light. Right and left, as in God saw the light, and he separated between the light which is Aron and the darkness which is Koirach. This is I will make peace in the land, and a sword will not pass through your land. To stand today, standing only means prayer before God. Your Lord represents the land of Israel. As our sages said, whoever lives in the land of Israel is like one who has a God. And how does one merit that one's prayer is within the air of the land of Israel, through your leaders, your tribes, etc.? The verse then listing 10 categories corresponding to the clapping of the hands with the 10 fingers. By the clapping of the hands, prayer is within the air of the land of Israel. Prayers corresponding to the Talmud represents the land of Israel. In other words, by clapping the hands, Gentile thoughts are banished. For whoever lives outside the land of Israel is like one who has no God, while whoever lives within the land of Israel is like one who has a God. For by clapping the hands, one is living within the air of the land of Israel, and one has a God, and Gentile thoughts are banished. Prayer is an aspect of faith, is in his hands were faithful until the setting of the sun. Translated by the Targum as his hands were spread in prayer, corresponding in the opposite sense. The faith are the heresies of Gentile thoughts. Their tikkun is through the Talmud, through the land of Israel, by way of clapping the hands. Thus you will be a crown of splendor in God's hand, by way of God's hand, that is, by clapping the hands, which arouses God's hand. Gentile thoughts are rectified, for Gentile thoughts cause a blemish in splendor, as if he would make his idol in the splendor of a human form to be placed in a shrine. And when one rectifies these thoughts, a crown of splendor is made. And the sphere of Tifeda, splendor is crowned with the crown with which his mother crowned him. Nachman, meuman. An alternate interpretation, prayers corresponding to the Talmud. This means that through prayer are revealed Torah secrets, which are called kivshayna shalaylam, secrets of the world. God's secrets, as in kivasim, literally shiyip, for your garments, as the sages said in Chagigah 13a, explain. As the sages in Chagigah 13a explain this verse as referring to Kivshayna Shalaylam. Now, secrets of the world, now that a daily offering was brought from Kivasim, as written in the first Kavis, brought in the morning. Thus, through prayers, Torah secrets are revealed, as brought on the verse, even when you pass through water, I am with you. Lekutei 173. Another interpretation, prayers corresponding. This refers to foreign thoughts that correspond to / opposed prayers, since they confuse one's prayer, and are called a mabul, since they are mivalbil, confuse one's prayer. This is rectified, giving charity to the land of Israel, by way of which one becomes encompassed within the land of Israel, about which it is said, a land that was not flooded on the day of rage. As the sages comment in Zvachim 113a, through this one is spared from foreign thoughts. This is to meet him, to keep him, that is their take and rectification. It's to the land of Israel, about which is said, a land that Tamid, always our God, your Lord's eyes upon it. Also the air of the land of Israel makes wise. Through this one's mind is cleared. This is, I will see her and remember the eternal covenants. I will see her refers to the land of Israel. To this, the eternal covenant prayer, the 18 blessings of the standing prayer, the tzaddik Yifav, numerically equivalent to 18. the world is aroused and rectified. Everything in lesson number 44 is connected, as we in fact heard most of the ideas in one lecture. In his holy manuscript, though, the rebbe meuman split up some of the ideas. This was what he occasionally did, and I do not know why. Lesson number 45, the rebbe's own words. Clapping your hands during prayers for the purpose of arousing the wings, which is the source of speech, as in a winged creature will tell the matter. And the verse says human hands were underneath their wings. Hence, when a person's arousal is expressed through his hands, the wings are aroused, that is, the wings, lobes of the lungs, from where speech arises. However, one must also prepare and make a mouth that is able to receive the speech within it. Clapping the hands together makes a mouth. This is because each hand possesses 5 fingers. Now the striking of the light contained in the right hand against the left hand, that is 5 times 5 produces 25, and striking the left hand against the right hand another 5 times, it's 25, is altogether 50. This represents the 50 times that the Exodus is mentioned in the Torah, for it was through the concept of the 50-year Jubilee that they left the exile of Egypt. Now the exile in Egypt was essentially an exile. Now the exile in Egypt was essentially an exile of speech, for which reason Moses stuttered, while through the redemption a mouth is made. Hence the mouth is made through the 50 gates of Binah, represented by me, who gave man a mouth. I mean numerically 50, thus by clapping the hands, the 5 fingers of the right hand against the 5 of the left hand, and 5 of the left hand against the 5 of the right, the element of me is brought about, through which makes a mouth, as in me gave man a mouth, who gave a man a mouth, me gave a man a mouth, then the mouth receives speech from the wings of the lungs, as in a winged creature will tell the matter. The wings in turn are aroused by man's hands, as in human hands were underneath their wings. We see all this empirically, as the hands are adjacent to the lungs' wings. For this reason, Jewish law states that the wing is broken near the body, the bird is rendered unkosher, for the lungs have certainly been punctured. Lesson number 46, the Rebbe's own word. Rebbe's own words. Clapping the hands during prayer corresponds to the positioning of a bed between north and south. This is because the bed represents conjugal union, which corresponds to prayer, while north and south correspond to the hands. For this reason, Abba Binyamin expressed the prayer that his prayer should be near his bed, meaning that there should be no difference between his prayer and his conjugal relation. Nanach, nachma, meuman. Nanach, nachma, meuman. Nanach, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachma, 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 meuman. Nanach, Nanach, nachma, meuman. Nanach, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachma, 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 meuman. Nanach, nachman, meuman. Lesson number 46, the Rebbe's own words. Clapping the hands during prayer corresponds to the positioning of the bed between north and south. This is because the bed represents conjugal union, which corresponds to prayer, while north and south correspond to the hands. For their yes reason, Abba ben Yemen expressed a prayer that his prayer here should be near his bed, meaning that there should be no difference between his prayer and his conjugal relations. Meaning that there should be no difference between his prayer and his conjugal relations. Abba ben Yemen expressed a prayer that his prayer should be near his bed, meaning that there should be no difference between his prayer and his conjugal relations. Clapping the hands also ameliorates judgments. This is because there are three expansions of the divine name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which corresponds to the three hands: the great hand, the strong hand, and the exalted hand. The right hand corresponds to the great hand, the left hand only corresponds to the strong hand, and the joining of the two during clapping corresponds to the exalted hand. The speech that one utters from the Gorain throat numerically to 59 corresponds numerically to 3 times Elikim, 86 times 3 equals to 58, and add 1 for the word, which is ameliorated by the 3 expansions of the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. Ayananavamo, anavavamo, navanavavavach, nachman, meuman, navavavanach, nachman, meuman, nanach, nachman, meuman. Only by the 3 expansions of the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. This is the meaning of Maso. This is the meaning. This is the meaning of This is the meaning of my soul. He is in my hand at all times. My soul represents speech, as in my soul left when he spoke, which corresponds to prayer, as in he rips his soul. He rips his soul, meaning prayer, apart in anger. My hand represents clapping the heavens. Thus the verse concludes, Oy v'soira. Does the verse conclude? Seraschu lo shuchachti, Torah I have not forgotten. The acronym of which is Shin Lamed Vav 336, corresponding to the 3 Yud Kei Vav Kei, is 26 times 3, 78. 3 times of the Kei, 86 times 3 now equals to 58. Oh, yeah, is the amelioration of judgments. Also, forgetfulness comes mainly from moharan, this constricted consciousness, which is represented by Elikim, and when one ameliorates Elikim with one's hands, then your Torah I have not forgotten. This is the meaning of Ki, because me, he has desire, therefore I will deliver him. B is numerically 42. 3 tikkunim introduction. Page 7b 3 times yad. Hand being numerically 42, that is the desire of the heart, is manifested in the hands, the clapping of the hands. Then I will deliver him, which is an amelioration of judgments. Dissent is also eliminated by clapping the hands. All dissent comes from that of Korach and Aaron, who represented the left and the right. By clapping the hands, the left is encompassed with the right, and the right is and the right and the left, and they become one. This is the meaning of his lightning layers of up table the world. Table corresponds to clapping the hands for the right hand. Corresponds to the divine name of 72, and the left corresponds to 216 judgments, and their being encompassed in each other makes twice 216, which is numerically table for 132. This is because the name of 72, which corresponds to the right, also contains 3 times 72, which is 216. These 3 72s corresponding to the high priest, the common priest, and the assistant high priest. The common priest and the assistant high priest. When table the clapping of hands is seen, his lightning lights up, meaning that that descent, which is called lightning, is ameliorated, as in his arrows went out like lightning. For an arrow refers to descendants and masters of arrows hated him. Translated in the Targum as masters of descent, this is the meaning of all nations Tiku, join hands. Tiku means joining. For twice 72 and 216 is numerically Tiku. Like 576. Before war and scribe, I transcribed this lesson from the Rebbe's holy manuscript. Nach, meuman, I had already written out some of the ideas by myself as I heard from him, and since some of the ideas are explained there more clearly, I have recorded it here as well. Both are good. This is the idea behind clapping hands during prayer. The bezH states, I was shalev, tranquil, and he broke me. Shalev is numerically 3 times Yud Kei Vav Kei plus 3 times Elikim. And the acronym of Vayosem Lechovashavulayim, Oy, may he grant you peace, is Shalev. Applying that the 3 Yud Kei Vav Keis ameliorate the 3 Elikims. For there are 3 hands, the great hand, the strong hand, and the exalted hand, the right hand being the great hand, the left hand being the strong hand, and their embracing each other makes the exalted hand. Therefore, by clapping the hands and joining them together during prayer, judgments are ameliorated. This is because the Yad hand corresponds to Yud Kei Vav Kei, Yud 10 letters of the expanded Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Daled 4 primary letters of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. 3 hands representing the 3 Yud Kei Vav Keis. The 3 hands representing the 3 Yud Kei Vav Keis ameliorate the 3 Elikims, which are the judgments that come out of the Guroim, which is numerically the throat, which is numerically 3 times Elikim. This is also conducive for memory, as in my soul is in my hands at all times. The Torah I have not forgotten. My soul represents prayers in my soul left when he spoke. And my hand at all times refers to the clapping of the hands during prayer. Then your Torah I have not forgotten, because forgetfulness is a moharan, constricted consciousness, represented by Elikim. But when one ameliorates the judgments, one is then in a moharan, expanded consciousness, and one does not forget. Therefore, the acronym of which is Shalei, for by ameliorating the three Elikims, with the three Kivav case, there is no forgetfulness. But this can only take place during prayer. For then one knows if one is in a state of constricted or expanded consciousness. For speech is a manifestation of consciousness, as in from his mouth came knowledge and discernment. Lesson number 47, the Rebbe's own word. You shall eat and be satiated, and praise the name of God, your Lord, who done with you wondrous things. My people will never again be ashamed. One who is sunken in the lust for food is surely distant from the truth. No doubt judgments are also hovering upon him. It is also a sign of poverty. One will also suffer disgrace and embarrassments, as written, cream, color, in ancient Greek, is caused by the disdain of man. If one avails oneself of others, one must avail oneself of others. One's face changes colors like a cream, a bird that changes colors in the sun. Nanach, nachma, nachma, meuman. Nanach, nachma, nachma, meuman. Nanach, nachma, nachma, meuman. Nach, nachman, nachman, meuman, nach, nachman, nachman, meuman.